Wassup Bouquets? How are we blooming today? It's your girl, Enchanted, the juicy lotus of uniqueness, and I welcome you back to another episode of How the Lotus Bloom, where I give you the real, the raw, and the radiant moments into my healing journey. Grab your snack, your tea, whatever it may be, take a break, and let's get into this bloom because you already know growth gets messy before it gets magical. So, today's topic is celebrating your successes, celebrating where you are, celebrating being grateful for everything that you have in the present moments. Okay, so this is always, got to start with, not start with, but this is the dive into my healing journey. So we're going to talk about how I've had certain successes that I did not celebrate and how I plan to change that narrative. I really hope this mic is working because I'm listening to an airplane right now. So sorry if I just started yelling out of nowhere in y'all eyes, but an airplane was going by, so I just had to make sure you could actually hear me. So yes, celebrating my successes. So let's just look at this year alone. This year alone, Miss Ma'am, me, I have healed a lot. I've grown a lot. As an individual, I've grown in my career as a teacher. I finished my teaching certification. I paid for it out of pocket. I passed my GACE, which is the teaching certification test, subject certification test for Georgia teachers. Mind you, I am a high school math teacher, so bookie butt. That mean, Miss Ma'am here, me, I passed my GACE. And that means I learned calculus in like 3 months because I've never taken calculus a day in my life. And I've been taking pre-cal in 10 years. And I passed. So, how did I celebrate that? I invested in myself. I made a big girl purchase at Apple. I've never gone into Apple and like, yeah, let me buy this. No. My phones are through my phone companies. The Apple product, when I had an iPod and stuff as a kid, my mom got it. So me actually going, and I've been saying I want an iPad or a Mac for like literally the longest. So for me to finally like walk into Apple last week, like, oh, I'm buying an iPad today, and I was gonna finance it. I was gonna put it on this little plan, and I was like, you know what? No. One, scared money don't make no money, and two, I deserve to walk in there. I've worked hard this year alone that I deserve to go reward myself with that iPad. And I did. And a new tripod that you see is following me. And new mics. So hopefully you don't hear the airplanes because I do love myself in nature, but nature gets noisy sometimes. So that's how we're celebrating my successes. I continue to make sure like I congratulate myself for, okay, these good job. Like if nobody else is telling you good job, I told myself good job. Like before I even get into like being a number one cheerleader, I'm also planning to celebrate certain things that I didn't even celebrate in the past. Like I have another goal that I'm trying to accomplish right now, and I've already said when I accomplish that goal, I'm making that celebration like another multi celebration of multiple things that I've accomplished that I didn't even get to really acknowledge before. Like I'm a 2020 graduate, college graduate. So I did not walk across stage. I didn't even take grad pictures, and I'm still, luckily I don't age for real. So I am, if y'all ever see me on Central Campus randomly in the middle of the semester, don't mind me. And if I actually end up posting them, y'all better act like I graduated this semester. I don't know, but I don't even know if I'll actually end up posting them. But I definitely am still planning on like going back and doing my grad pictures because like regardless of not walking the stage and all that, I need to celebrate. Especially if you heard the story about what college was like. Well, not, I haven't said fully what college was like, but just a glimpse of college being not part of the reason, but college being my college time was my part of my healing journey. So I went through a lot in the 5 years and changing majors and all that other stuff. So I deserve to celebrate, and I deserve to hear good job. At least you got a degree, even if okay. So I also realized celebrating your success is definitely a mindset thing. I've been seeing something on Instagram going around that's like, I hate having dry lips. I'm sorry. I seen something going around Instagram that was like, I never celebrated my successes because I felt like it was something I was supposed to do. And that speaks because it's like you set certain standards for yourself so that when you accomplish and you set these goals for yourself, when you actually end up accomplishing them, it's like, well, you already said you was gonna do it, so you don't treat it like it's an accomplishment because it's like, oh, that's just another thing to check off the list. But no, you actually persevering and sometimes what it took to even accomplish that thing might not have been easy. Just because you accomplished it, just because it was on the list to accomplish, it might not have been easy to accomplish. So you still need to celebrate that you accomplished that. You still need to acknowledge and stop and smell the flowers and say, hey, you did it. Or even if you're not all the way there, if you just halfway towards that goal, we making progress. Okay? So you have to be able to you have to be able to who that was. You have to be able to really again, just stop and smell the flowers. Stop and just really look at where you are right now in the present moment. And even if it seems like things are in shambles, things are not going, you're progressing. I was dealing with an athlete at one point, and something they used to say was like, or something they used to post about would be like 1% each day. And then I think I later read a book or something that was also about like giving 1% each day. So small progress is still progress. I feel like this is like two different videos in one because are we talking about progress or are we talking about successes? But either way, when it comes, I'm saying this because a lot of people don't even feel like accomplishing certain things is actually a success because sometimes the journey to accomplishing it isn't as pretty or sweet or in the way they vision it happening. So because it didn't go in the way that you planned it, you put it off as, oh, it happened by the skin of my teeth, so I can't even celebrate that. No. Celebrate it. Acknowledge it. Woo. If anything, that's when you really need to celebrate it. It took a lot to do this, but I did it. Okay. So, yeah. And we have to learn how to be our own number one cheerleaders because everybody's not going to always be there to give that applause. Somebody's not going to always be there to congratulate you and say, good job, you did it. That's why you have to be able to do it for yourself. That's why you have to be able to do it for yourself. I don't know if y'all can hear, which I don't think y'all can because when I tested it earlier, I couldn't even hear that plane. So I know y'all can't hear this bird. But it's funny because as I was like taking them pauses, a bird was literally like, in a weird way, echoing me. We're going to get into how nature talks to you later, but it'd be funny to me because I have a thing with birds. So the fact that it's echoing after I'm saying what I'm saying just confirms. So yeah, so being your own cheerleader, there's not always going to be people around you that one people around you aren't always going to be even rooting for you. There are going to be times you have people around you that ain't even supposed to be around you. You don't realize it yet. You don't know it at the time, but so you wouldn't wondering why nobody rooting for you because they always feel downfall. But that ain't this conversation today. We not talking about that. But you do have to get to a point where you're okay. You're not okay. You're more than okay. But you have to get to a point where even in silence, even when nobody is watching, even when nobody is looking, you're rooting yourself on. You're motivating yourself. You're pushing yourself. You tell yourself to keep going harder, and keep giving 1%, 5%, 10%, 75%, whatever percent you can give that day. You're making sure that you give it, whatever it may look like. Because again, small progress is still progress. Okay, if we're trying to reach our goals. I'm really pretty. Okay, sorry. Side note, love yourself. Celebrate that because ancestors, DNA, you did that. Thank you, parents. Okay. Thank you, God. But no, literally, like, but you know, like, you have to do stuff like that. Like, let me be real with y'all. When it comes to me putting this camera up and like really coming out here and giving y'all these videos, it sometimes takes a lot. Like I said, the year I just had was very honestly tiring. It was very draining. It was very. It was a lot. I can't even like hold it, but it was very awakening. It was very eye opening. It was very like, okay, I see what's going on here, and okay, let me, okay, like, but because I had to take a lot of moments, like, God, I pray I'm still in alignment. Like, God, if this is what you want me to do, am I wasting my time, my certification? If I wasted my, like, is this worth it? Am I supposed to be here? Mind you, if you know me, I never planned on being a teacher. Never. Then I'm a high school math teacher at that. Sorry, it's a flex. I ain't gonna lie. Like, teach high school math in a swap. If you know, you know. Teach these kids from Campbellton Road and MLK. Oh, okay. From dead end in a park. Let me stop. But you know, like, that's a flex, and it's sometimes being a teacher is draining and rewarding, and sometimes it's hard to see the rewarding part in the teaching. But that's neither here nor there. We're not talking about my career. We're talking about celebrating the success of my career and what me staying down and cheering myself on and sometimes rooting myself on, like, because I had to do it a lot this year. I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of silent battles I was having, and I had to keep going, had to keep pushing, had to keep persevering. And it's really a mindset shift that you have to tell yourself, like, I could have had so many moments this year where I'm like, oh, I'm failing or I'm not doing good, but no, no, no. Somebody had to remind me is there really any growth if there's no failure? Um, so like it really just had to change your mindset. Like, okay, that didn't go the way I planned, but you know, that just told me that I need to focus on this and work on this, and let me just adjust my plan. Let me just adjust my execution so that it will come out better. The results will be better later. No insanity, not doing the same thing over and over. Nope. We're gonna change it so that we can actually move forward. So, um, even when the world gets silent, even when it seemed like nobody is watching, because I've had a lot of moments like that too, where I didn't even feel like, and that's probably part of the reason why I would say like teaching is like sometimes you don't realize the reward. But I had a lot of moments where I realized, oh, these kids watching me, um, or oh, these kids look up to me, or even if they're not saying I look up to you, I'm impacting these kids. I know I am. And for me, especially with me teaching high school, I had to like one even realize like what about me or what about my life put me in a setting that I need to be around these high school kids, because that's even currently what I'm killing right now is my teenage self. And even throughout this year, I realized exactly why it's 10th grade, exactly why I'm teaching 10th grade. Like, I know exactly why I am in the position that I'm in, because 10th grade for me was 10th grade for me was the year I started feeling shame, was the year I started wanting to hide and not wanting to be in my success. I already treated myself like I was a failure in 10th grade. I shrunk myself. And not saying that I didn't have people pouring into me, but if anything, it just made me like me having that realization to realize what really happened to me 10th grade and why I'm now teaching 10th grade. It made me realize who I have to be or how I have to show up as a teacher, because me knowing what happened to me and knowing what that did to me as a person, how it affected my life moving forward, even going into adulthood, I try to make sure I advocate for my students. I try to make sure I set an example. I try to make sure that I'm teaching them life lessons past math. We're not just talking about, oh, Sakatoa. No, we're talking about life. Everybody in my class know it's gonna be 45-minute class time and 45-minute therapy. Like, we're gonna, because I want y'all mindset to be stronger than mine was when I graduated high school. So certain things are a mindset thing. Success is a mindset. I was so scared to be somebody's actual mother, and I literally go to work every day and get called Mama Russ. Mind you, I'm not even old enough to be anybody's mother. Well, none of theirs. I'm not even old enough. Well, by genetics of when you're gonna, yeah, sure, but realistically, would I actually have a kid at that age? No. So, realistically, I'm not even old enough to be their mother. But the fact that they see me in that way and see me in that light tells me that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Tells me that that's a success. That's a compliment. For them kids to look at you like a mother, to trust you like their mother, cousin, auntie, anything, to have that much trust, and for them to even feel seen by you, and I have to deal with 120 kids a day, not a day, but by and all. So yeah, you just have to really like sit in that. Like, I had to sit in that. Like, at one point, like, you know what? These kids love you. Cause I was straight. I'm like, I'm over here trying to pass this test, and these foolish kids is, but no, like, even if they having their moments that are like, okay, I have my moment. I come out my day where I come in here and they probably like, Miss Rest tweaking, and we still got to keep going. We still got to put our best foot forward. Like, I've literally had times where I've had to like realize, like, I failed my gates. I've had to take these gates like multiple times, 4 times fast. So that's another reason we're celebrating it. But I failed my gates and I had to come straight to school one day. And my students knew I was preparing, so they like, oh, how you do? And they see me and they see my energy and they just like, uh-oh. They try to ask, but I'm like, yeah, no. And then once I explain, like, y'all, like, I make math easy to y'all, but imagine if I give y'all this test that look like this, y'all would be mad too. And they was like, oh yeah. But either way, just realizing your impact, and sometimes you gotta change your definition of success. Success might not be achieving the actual goal. Success might be the journey. Oh, and with that, I thank you. I thank you for coming to Bloom with me today. If this message hits, um, remember, healing gets messy. It's before it's magical, and it's yours to claim. Healing is yours to claim. This is your journey. This is nobody else's journey to go on. Nobody else can heal you but you. Okay, so if this touched you, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend who's blooming, healing, and getting through. Excuse me, growing through and growing beyond their current situations. Until next time, stay grounded, stay golden, stay glued. Jeez, I don't know what this is.